Hey everyone, Andrew back again and welcome to another video, and it's Saturday, so I'm back with another slasher review as part of the TheHORROrmans Slashback Slash Challenge series. And this week's theme is Factual Slashers. So Joe wanted us to review and talk about a slasher movie that was based on fact. So whether it be based on a real life serial killer or something along those lines. So yeah, I've decided to review Wolf Creek 2. So I reviewed the original movie in last year's Slashback Challenge during one of the themes. So I thought it was quite fitting to review the sequel for the sequel Slashback Challenge this year. So yeah, this one definitely fits the theme, and I will get to that throughout this review. But Wolf Creek 2 once again centres around the sadistic outback serial killer Mick Taylor. And once again, he is on the prowl for backpackers and just victims in general that he can kill off throughout the outback. Now, he actually comes into contact with a traveller by the name of Paul, who actually helps one of Mick's victims, and it basically turns into like a cat and mouse style game where Mick is trying to track down and follow and capture Paul throughout the movie. So that is essentially the storyline to this one. Now we'll move on to my thoughts on Wolf Creek 2. So probably no surprise to anyone out there that is familiar with me and my channel, because I have mentioned not only this movie but the franchise in general many times in past videos, and I'm sure everyone knows by now that I am a massive fan of the Wolf Creek franchise and the Mick Taylor character. Very, very iconic Australian horror franchise, and of course Mick Taylor is a very iconic Australian slasher or serial killer. So very, very awesome. I absolutely love this sequel. Now, while it's a little different to the original film, I think it is a really, really good sequel. So first of all, we'll talk a little bit about why this movie comes under the theme of factual slashers. And again, I'm sure most of you have heard this from me in the past, or at least know about this, but the Wolf Creek franchise is actually based off a real-life serial killer called Ivan Milat, who back in the late 80s, early 90s, did a bunch of killings of overseas tourists and backpackers throughout Australia. Just backpackers that were travelling within Australia. He would offer to give them a lift, and then he would kill them off, and he buried them in the Belanglo State Forest. So very, very notorious character, this Ivan Milat, and very, very well known across Australia in terms of serial killers. Definitely one of the most notorious and well known Australian serial killers. So yeah, the movie franchise and the Mick Taylor character is loosely based off the backpacker killer Ivan Milat. So yeah, that is where the factual based theme comes into play with this movie. But yeah, I guess we'll talk a little bit about the location. So this one is entirely set within the Australian outback, which I absolutely love. I think it's a phenomenal location for a slasher movie. It's very, very isolated, wide open spaces, and very, very barren. So I think it is perfect, because if you're trapped out there, you can't really go searching for help anytime soon, because towns and houses are spread pretty wide apart. So I think it is a great location, especially for this type of movie, and it works really, really well. The other location that I really like within this film is Mick Taylor's underground lair, which is really, really awesome. I really, really liked that too. So yeah, the locations are on point, and it definitely shows off the Australian outback pretty well. Obviously not accurately, because you know, Mick Taylor isn't real, but in terms of the landscape and the environment, it definitely shows off the Australian outback really, really well, which is pretty awesome. So next of all, we'll talk a little bit about the characters. I really liked the characters in this one. So we have Mick Taylor once again as the central killer within this movie, And once again, he is phenomenal. I think he is a really, really awesome character, played by John Jarratt, and his laugh is one of the most creepiest laughs that I've ever heard. So awesome stuff. I think Mick Taylor is an absolutely fantastic killer. I really liked the other main character, Paul, within this movie. Now, he plays a British character within the movie, but he's actually an Australian, so he's an Aussie actor as well. And I think he plays the role really, really well. Ryan Corr plays Paul, and I've seen him in other stuff, and yeah, he's definitely a really, really good actor. But he was great within this movie, and yeah, I really, really liked his character a lot. There's a handful of other sort of characters, throwaway characters that Mick kills off throughout the film, which are all really, really good as well. We'll talk a little bit about the kills next. The kills are definitely ramped up over the original film. Like, in my opinion, any good sequel should. I feel that if the sequel ramps up the kills a little bit more, perhaps has a higher body count, a little bit more gore, it's definitely doing its job. And yeah, it definitely did its job within this film. There's some phenomenal kills within this one, mix a lot more brutal and sadistic, I feel. There's a lot more gore within this movie over the original film. So yeah, the kills are absolutely fantastic. There's one scene that I really, really like in someone's farmhouse that is extremely brutal. Really, really good scene. And then there's a good scene with some officers at the beginning of the film as well, which is really, really cool. And when Mick eventually captures the Paul character down in his underground lair, there's some pretty brutal torture scenes during that part of the film as well. So yeah, the kills are on point. It has some good gore, and it's extremely brutal and pretty vicious throughout. So that's really all I really have to say on Wolf Creek 2. You guys already know my opinions on this franchise. I absolutely love it. And yeah, Wolf Creek 2 is a fantastic entry into the Wolf Creek franchise. So far we only have the 2 movies and the 2 seasons of the TV show. And I know this is a review for this particular film, but if you haven't checked out any of the other Wolf Creek movies, whether it be the original film, this one, or the 2 seasons of the TV show, I definitely highly recommend them all. This is an absolutely fantastic franchise, and I've heard rumours that they are working on either a 3rd season of the TV show or a 3rd movie, so hopefully that happens really, really soon. I've heard rumours that it is happening this year, so hopefully that definitely comes to fruition. But yeah, anyway, I'm kind of going off tangent, kind of rambling a little bit here, but yeah, that's been my review of Wolf Creek 2. If you've seen this movie, let me know in the comments what you think of it, and if you haven't, I definitely highly, highly recommend it. Anyway, that's it for this week's review. Until next Saturday, I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.